Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Rapido RS18u. This is a CP rail locomotive. It's the CP rail scheme without the multi-mark. It's equipped with DCC and ESU LOKSound, and we're going to see what you get starting now. After removing a clear plastic sleeve, the RS18u you can get to by opening the box top. Inside there's an operating manual with stickers and exploded parts diagram. Also goes over CVs, functions, and everything you'd want to know about the locomotive, maintenance, etc. Locomotive itself in a blister packaging. Slide that out. Pop the top here, and out comes the locomotive. So I'll remove the protective packaging that keeps the handrail straight, and we'll look to see what you get. Okay, all zoomed in with the packaging removed. The first thing that really sticks out like a sore thumb on these locomotives are the re-railers that are mounted on the side right there, and there's one on each side, but we'll get to that. Let's start on the nose like we always do. There are dual lights up front with a brake wheel. There's a drop step that actually does move. I can move that in or out, as you can see. There's also ditch lights, an MU receptacle, accessory and brake line hoses, a coupler cut lever, and there on the pilot there's also metal couplers, Rapido's couplers there. The nice red and white stripe on the front, iconic for CP rail. There is a bell mounted in between the number boards there. Then you've got your stanchions and handrails. The walkways allow for snow to pass through, so they're graded. There's windshield wipers on the front windows, as you can see. On the side, number 1837 is prevalent. You see the F for indicating the forward area of the locomotive. Brake chain detail may be a little hard to see with the dark trucks, but that is on the truck detail, and that's a non-molded free hanging brake chain. Another one of those re-railers. Give you a closer look at that right above the aft fuel tank, and another truck there. Then you have all your grills, as you can see all along the side, radiator, intake, output, all that. When we go to the rear, you've got separately applied grabs running up and down on white, tricolored class lights up top. Your rear light, another drop step, another MU receptacle, more of the same detail we talked about on the front. Also, if you look at the roof, you can see very finely detailed lift rings, and you can also see many other details. As we have the locomotive on its side, you can see the radiator fan with see-through detail, where you can see just the outline of the fan. You can see the horn, the exhaust, and more upper detail on the top, and this ice skate antenna up top as well. Let's check the weight on this locomotive. It is 12.8 ounces, 362 grams, so not a bad weight for that at all, but we'll also check pulling power when we get into operation. Okay, we have the pull meter here. I've not turned on sound, but we are checking pull test on this. In ounces, so far we've breached 250 or 2.5, and that's about where it's going to stay, peaking at 2.7. I don't let this run too long because this can do some damage, but we're getting 2.8, 2.9 even. So you're looking at 40 to 45 cars from this locomotive that should be able to pull by itself. That is just an approximation of HO scale freight cars, but that is what it should be able to pull. Okay, a little bit of a side view here. F8 starts all ESU equipped locomotives, so let's do that. Now these locomotives have interior detail. I'll show you that real quick. If we zoom in on the cab interior, you can see separate gauges on the cab, or in the cab. So a very nice lighted gauge effect there. Rapido's been doing that with more and more locomotives recently. Without the premium you find out there in the hobby when others have been trying to do that. Up front you see the lit number boards right away. There's also obviously a headlight on F0. You can probably see that. I'll move it a little closer to a direct view so you can see that better. Additionally, we'll go through some functions. Obviously, if you're familiar with model trains and DCC, one is bell. Two's horn. Three is flange squeal, which we're going to need to move to get. Very nice detail there. Four is dynamic brake. Also need to move to get. And maybe we don't need to move at all. I think it'll just kind of stay running. F5 Doppler horn, so if you're at a fixed point and the locomotive's passing you, that would be F5. That's F5. F6 are the ditch lights. And those are lighting up. You might be able to tell it's not the greatest because it's so bright in here to see, but they are lighting up. F7 dims the headlights. F8 start up and shut down and mute. F9's drive hold, which means whatever speed it's set at is what it'll stay at F9, and the prime mover will respond. F11 are class lights, which you see there above the number boards. And every time you hit it, changes. Or goes out, and when you hit it again, it'll change. So F11 off, F11 again, next color, which is red, F11 again, off.
How's it going,
That was just the Easter egg. But F11's off. See, I think I hit F1 twice or something. But see, so basically the sequence is F11 on, F11 off, F11 on, next color, F11 off, F11 on to the next color, F11 off. And there are your class lights. F12 switching mode, F13, which we've talked about before, F14 is head-end power, F16 steam generator, F18 is the ground lights, which also may be hard to see in this lighting, but they're just going to shine down on the trucks there. 19's number board lights, and 20 is spitter valve. Alright, we'll talk about the switching mode real quick. If you press the F12, the headlight and rear light will both be dim. It's appropriate for switching operations, which would commonly be in yards and terminals. It's the only way to turn on both the rear and front lights at the same time, but when you hit F12 again, it basically turns off the switching mode and you return to regular lighting, which is, directional lighting. So that is what you have there with all the functions. We'll go ahead and move this. One speed step, very smooth. As you can see, Rapido is really at the top of their game on these locomotives. I'm going to go ahead and set the AccuTrack speedometer up while we're at one speed step. Give you kind of a drastic look down at it as the locomotive goes through. And I'll zoom out so you don't think I'm tricking you with some other locomotive. So this is one speed step on this locomotive. It's approaching the first sensor on the AccuTrack 2 speedometer. While we're waiting on this to go through, I get a lot of comments that, hey James, this is on kilometers per hour and not miles per hour. No, that is just the status light saying that it's ready to record the speed. When you first turn on the speedometer, it says HO scale and shows a little bar next to miles per hour. So we are in the correct setting, and we have 0.9 miles per hour, scale miles per hour, which is very close to 1 out of 128 speed steps. So very nicely done from Rapido on the programming out of the box of this thing. We'll check reverse and see how smooth that is real quick. Also very smooth, no problems there either. You hear the splitter valve going. You can see nice detail on the top and my very poorly done ballast work that's about to get ripped up and redone. Going to use a lighter color. I'm looking at some differences, maybe Arizona ballast or something, Arizona rock ballast or whatever it's called. But very smooth forward and back, and you get a glimpse of the truck light there as well. So there is your Rapido locomotive. So this RS18u is really well done. Couldn't find any issues, NMRA compliant, runs very smoothly, sound is good, operation's good. Pull test for a short locomotive like this is not bad at all. So beautiful details like the interior lighting, the tricolored class lights, the wheel flange squeal, just a lot of great details on this locomotive for a decent price, in my opinion. That said, we'll leave you with a run by. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care.
Many of the products you see in this video are available at trainworld.com. Since 1968, this family-owned business has been serving the needs of the modeling community with 2 New York brick-and-mortar store locations in Brooklyn and Long Island, plus their vast array of online items. Shop 24/7 at trainworld.com.